Well, welcome back. Another installment of Meet the Agents. Get to hang out with some of the coolest real estate agents in Tucson. They're doing amazing things. My name's Tom Heath. I'm with the Heath team here at Nova Home Loans. And we are here today with Julia Van Valkenburg. Close.
Van Valkenburg.
Van Valkenburg. I want to make it sound so much more like medieval music, like Valkenburg.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So I understand it by the nature of the show that you are in real estate.
Yes, I am. I'm with Omni Homes International, and I am in real estate.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long have you been in this endeavor of real estate?
I got my license almost 2 years ago, but I didn't get started until about a year and a half ago. So
Okay.
It's been about a year and a half. Yeah.
What made you think this was a fun idea?
Well, I was one of those people that loved HGTV growing up.
Okay.
And I should get into real estate. Then I quickly realized.
It takes more than 30 minutes to sell a house.
Exactly. But then once I actually did the schooling, I began to realize how much I loved, like, not only the process of buying and selling, especially helping first-time home buyers, but like even the legal aspects and kind of the like government jurisdiction stuff. Weirdly, I was into that, so I thought, okay, cool, let's do this. But I think helping first-time home buyers is really kind of why I got into it. And now that I'm a little further along, when it comes to listings, really marketing those listings, that's where I get like super excited. So,
Did you go through an experience with a real estate agent yourself in the past that you said, you know what, first-time home buyers need a little more help than we got?
Yeah, I did. My first experience, I just felt like my husband and I had no clue what was going on, and we weren't provided with as much of hand-holding, honestly, as I wish we were. We could have, of course, like done a lot of research on our own, but we just didn't know what we were doing. And I realized that with first-time home buyers, it's like mostly first-time home buyers have no clue what they're doing, and it's such a huge undertaking. And so I'm very, almost maybe too much, like, okay, this is what this means, so this is what this means, and just because there's so much jargon. And I think especially when you've been a realtor for a little bit, you start forgetting that they don't know what that means. I even find myself doing that sometimes, so I remind myself, like, okay, they don't remember when you bought your first house and you had no idea what anything meant.
Yeah.
And kind of how to help people along with that. So
When you said you wanted to really got into it to help first-time home buyers, that was when I first thought. A lot of times when I've talked to an agent, they're like, yeah, we went through an experience and we just were sort of part of the process, but didn't really, it wasn't our process. We didn't understand where we were.
Exactly.
And that can be discomforting. For some people, it's really nice. They're like, just tell me where to sign.
Right.
Yeah, I want to be done.
I was kind of like that, but then once it happened, I was like, oh, wait, I need to know more about my home and things like that. So, yeah.
I said, what?
Yeah.
And jargon is definitely an issue. And in the lending world, we're just as guilty.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing this for, I've been doing this 25 years, and I'll tell someone that their DTI is out of line for the LTV, and
right.
We're going to use the non-Q, and they look at me like, OMG, WTF, and so yeah, we should probably break it down.
Right.
And I think the explanation for any home buyer is important. You know, I've noticed that even if it's their second or third time, if they didn't get the Julia treatment the first time,
exactly, so they really don't know what's happening. Yeah.
And then also finding that when it's the first time to sell, that's another time. First-time home sellers, and they've not gone through this. They bought their first home, but they didn't see it on the other side.
Right, exactly.
And walking them through that, so that you're getting our listing side to get to bring that perspective.
Yes.
To the sellers.
Yeah. So I have a recent experience of that. I helped my mom. I represented her selling the house I grew up in, and it was her first time selling a house.
That has to be tough. So were you emotional?
I was, and in a way, though, I was like happy because I'm like, okay, my mom gets to move forward. But it was a very bizarre experience, honestly.
You're so tired. We're gonna change this room. Like, no, you can't change this room.
I did do some open houses. Luckily, everyone was really nice, but I was preparing myself mentally for if people weren't nice, so I was gonna have to like just hold my tongue and not get offended. But with that experience, it was my mom's first house she bought and her first house selling, like 30 years later. And it was really interesting just being like, oh yeah, my mom hasn't been through this before and I have to guide her. So it was very rewarding. Obviously it was very complicated emotionally, but it was a good experience overall, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure Mom felt very comfortable with you there. But I think anybody, we just forget that people, that they can own their home forever, but if they haven't sold it,
Right.
there's a whole set of jargon and steps that they're just left familiar with.
Totally, yeah.
And if they get their information off the internet, like 60% of it's probably not accurate.
Right. Yeah.
And you mentioned also something about marketing the listings, because I remember we talked before, that's your background, right? Isn't it? And
Yeah, I went to film school. I tried to do that for a little while, and then ended up in marketing, social media marketing, and I did that for about 3 years. And that is basically kind of when I got into real estate, I was like, okay, I have this set of tools that I can use to help build my business, and I'm going to really try and lean into that and see how it goes. So that, I mean, I'm able to also with my Instagram, I'm still able to do video, which is really cool, even though I'm not really utilizing my degree that much. I kind of am. So it's been fun to be able to do that, incorporate the marketing. And I think listing a home, so much of it is marketing. So I've enjoyed that a lot. Yeah.
Normally, like, 'cause I do a lot of these interviews, and when I sit down, the agents, if they don't do a lot of video, they're a little nervous.
Yeah.
And now I'm freaking out a little bit because you've got a film school background, and I have to edit all this up. So you're going to be like...
It's been a while, though. Let's just be clear.
Come on, this cut is horrible. The lighting is awful.
I was a very, I don't know how I say it. Like, I today I make phone videos, right? I feel like all my way through film school, I was very much like that, very DIY, not as like technical. It was more about the concepts, so I won't judge at all.
Pressure.
Yeah.
That has to be a huge component from the listing side to have that background into marketing and the filming, to know when you're talking to someone about presenting their home in the best possible position. That you literally went to school for that.
Yeah, I think it is, and especially, as the market changes and it's not as simple to sell a house really fast. To me, it makes such a huge difference. I do I dive into the neighborhood where it is listed. I take very good care to make sure that there are great photos. I'm not taking those photos, but with my current listing, I've done video tours. I did an Instagram live the other week, which I've never done before. And I'm just trying to kind of get all of that kind of like a holistic marketing package. And I'm obviously doing other things outside of social media, but I think having it on social media and being able to share that is really helpful. So
it's almost a necessity in this market, and there's a lot of agents out there that do it well, and there are a lot that want to do it well.
Yeah.
And with your expertise, I'm just excited to see that. Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge selling point for you as you're talking potential with someone.
For sure. And I think, so that's huge. And also, I do, when I don't have as much going on, I do share other agents' listings too and do video tours. And at first, it was kind of a tough sell to get people to let me do that. And now that my Instagram's got a little bigger, I actually had people reach out to me. So if anyone's interested, I'll do it.
Tell us about your Instagram, because you and I met at the Tucson Gallery. I think there was some event there.
Yeah.
And then separately, as someone forwarded me, or I ran across a video that you had done, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Thank you.
And then connected the two dots there. But what is your Instagram handle, and tell us about that?
So it's Tucson Inside and Out. And it actually recently became that. For a while, it was called Design Remade, and I started it when I was renovating a condo, and I wanted to kind of document that process. And then it became my real estate account, but I kept the name. And then a couple months ago, I was like, I need to change this name because it's not I'm doing all this Tucson stuff. I'm not doing as much design stuff on here. Like, let's kind of rebrand. So Tucson Inside and Out, I came up with because I wanted it to kind of signify the city, we're out and about, but also inside a home. And that's why I do want to still bring in some things about decorating the home and things like that, kind of making your home yours. But so much of it is about Tucson and just kind of exploring your neighborhoods and our businesses. Tucson as a city, I feel like just loves local businesses so much. I do, and I love just online, just seeing people celebrate businesses, and some I feel like get celebrated more than others. So it's like I want to start implementing more businesses into the neighborhoods I'm sharing. That's kind of what I'm working on right now. But yeah, it's really about just celebrating Tucson and hopefully gaining some clients from that too. But really, I want people to, my little technique is love where you live inside and out, and that's kind of my goal with the stuff that I'm creating. So,
well, I love this concept of inside and out.
Yeah.
Knowing now more about your background, and I didn't realize that the title for me was thinking about things inside and outside of Tucson, but you're talking about Tucson inside and outside of your structure.
I know. I realized that was kind of sounds like.
But your videos they perfectly fall in line with that, because you do a mix. It's not just cool things in Tucson. It's not just real estate, but there's a cool mix, a nice mix between those.
Yeah.
And it keeps it engaging. So when I'm looking and you're posting a video about a home, I'm more inclined to watch it, because I know that I've seen, you're going to probably tie it into the neighborhood or the local eateries or things of that nature. And it's fun, I think, to tell stories of homes and not just two bedroom, two bath.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's the thing too, I guess it's kind of film schooly, is that it's ultimately everything's about storytelling. So it's like, if you are kind of creating a story about the home and about the neighborhood, I feel like that's just so much more interesting than just like, here are the details. And I do kind of default to that, like, because everybody wants to know, okay, how many bedrooms are there, stuff like that. But I want to make it a little bit more engaging, even for people that aren't necessarily interested in buying home right now. But it's like, at least, they can look into it, and maybe they're going to learn more because they're watching these videos. And that's kind of my approach too, is I don't want it to just be home buyers. And that's why it is Tucson Inside and Out. It's like, I want community members who aren't necessarily ever going to buy a house to still feel like they can follow me and enjoy it. So.
Well, I think it's a great ad for Tucson as well.
Thank you.
People that are exploring the area, and I know as a real estate agent, you hopefully you'll pick up some business along the way. But I know other real estate agents that share your content because it's good for Tucson.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
When your competition is out there saying, "Hey, this is good information about Tucson," you're clicking on something.
Yeah, totally. I love whenever I see someone share it and I see that they're a realtor. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's fantastic. So I want to drop back for a moment, because you have another set of skills that I think I've glossed over here. You remodeled a condo?
Well, I didn't remodel it myself, but I did leave my job to kind of manage remodeling it. Obviously, like, you need a bunch of contractors, and my husband and I were both working from home during the pandemic, and we decided to move back to Tucson, and we needed to redo our condo in order to do that. It was a fixer-upper that we had intended on, like, fixing up over many years. But when we decided to move on, like, all right, let's do this. We can't do this if we're both in meetings all day long. And so, because I love this stuff, I left my job to do that. And I did a lot of stuff on my own. I did, like, repaint cabinets and spray paint things and change out faucets and stuff like that. But I also managed, like, having our horrendous shower completely redone. It was the scariest shower you've ever seen. And we got to enjoy it for like 3 weeks before we moved. But redoing our kitchen.
So you redid the home so you could sell it?
Yeah.
Oh, this wasn't like redoing it so you could... Oh, so you made it perfect for someone else.
Yes, and that's the thing, is that my taste was... I had like painted kind of like swirls on the wall in one of the rooms, and I was like, all right, I gotta paint right over this. And everything I had to choose obviously had to be a lot more basic. So it was a lot of white and simpler than I would have done if I had done it for us long term. But I still wanted to make some of those fun choices, because I know people sometimes talk about like, oh, don't do that if you want to resell your house. I don't think that that's something to think about. I mean, you should do what you want to do. And, if you want to sell your house in the next year, okay, maybe make some simpler choices, but don't negate your taste.
Right, it's your house for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's another sort of empathy point for your first-time home buyer that didn't get the greatest of guidance. You've got a background in marketing and telling stories, and you can also help people with this really daunting task of renovating and fixing up a home.
Yeah, because growing up, that was kind of like my hobby, and it continued to be that. And when I went to film school, I always just wanted to do something creative, and so I went to film school. But like, I always was working on like painting furniture and doing all these things, and I thought also with the real estate, like, okay, maybe I can get back to my roots a little bit. Like, this is the thing I've been wanting to do my whole life before I wanted to do film and TV. So now I would love, I have an Airbnb that I decorated. We bought our forever home, we'll see, this past fall, and I'm slowly getting that together. But I do on the side, like, I've staged my mom's house. Staging would be something I would want to do more of, and even decorating other people's Airbnbs. So I think of it kind of as the marketing component too, because staging is a huge part of marketing a property. And so I think of my skill set as just being very visual. Like, okay, how are we going to make this video look good? How are we going to make the house look good? Like, what are the visual components here? And then hopefully also being very empathetic and educating my buyers and sellers.
Yeah, now if you're a buyer and you're looking at investment property and you're thinking about an Airbnb, that's another daunting task. If you've never done that, there's a lot of costs involved. People don't fully understand. You got to buy silverware and plates and towels and like all these things that, you're furnishing a brand new home. And I know some first-time investors that have sort of started down this path, and then once we really kind of outline what that cost is, it changes their plans a little bit.
Totally. Yeah, that's the thing. When our Airbnb, I almost entirely decorated secondhand, except for the beds and the couch, some of the things, but it still was very expensive because it's not you filling an entire house. And you also don't want it to feel empty. So it's like you need art, you need fake plants, you need pillows, and like those things just add up. In addition to obviously like silverware. And you want to, if you have an Airbnb, you want to have the good one because there are so many that aren't good. So it's like you want to make sure that you have the right type of coffee maker and the right, a wine opener and things like that like some people forget. So yeah, that's important.
I know I know a lot of people at Airbnb and the calls they will get from someone that if they don't have the right equipment.
Yeah,
it's kind of frustrating for everyone.
Right. One of my first guests reached out before they even got there and were like, do you have a bottle opener? And I was like, yes, we do. But the fact that they were like reaching out before they had even shown up, I was like, okay, these guys have had bad experiences or something.
Well, now after saying it's your Airbnb, they're like going to all these other ones like, wait a minute.
Yep, that's the goal.
You don't have this. Julia has this. So from an 18-month to your perspective, the amount of experience that you have outside of real estate is so helpful to people, first-time home buyers, investors, sellers, first-time sellers, people that need help with staging. I mean, like, all these components just sort of, like, it's like you're destined to sort of be in this where you are right now. You feel that?
Thank you. I kind of do. I think that what I like about real estate is that it's people who are entrepreneurial can basically kind of take their skill sets and make it really work for them. And I would describe myself as entrepreneurial. And so for me, it's like I get to have this career where I can pull in all these things that I've always cared about and kind of bring that joy into what I'm doing, which then kind of translates to how I work with people. So yeah.
Well, Tucson Inside and Out, we can follow you there on Instagram. How else do people get a hold of you?
So you can email me at julia@buyselltucsonhomes.com. I also have a website called buyselltucsonhomes.com. I'm on Threads. I am on Facebook, both at Tucson Inside and Out, and soon to be on YouTube, I think. That's the plan. Not there yet, but just keep an eye out. I'm not on TikTok, and I probably never will be, but you can always call me too at 520-275-3514.
I'll say that. Thanks for your time and thanks for sharing your history, and I look forward to seeing what happens over the next few years with this.
So thank you.
Yeah.